Hi sellers, let's review how to create an inbound shipment. Log into Cahoot and go to Work Orders, All Inbounds. On the Assign to Partner tab, click Add New Inbound. There are two required fields at the top, Inbound Name and Estimated Ship Date. Name your inbound and select your estimated ship date. You can add estimated arrival, you can add reference numbers, carrier info, any special instructions, but these aren't required for the simple inbound creation. And the pickup info will be needed later, but if you know now what the actual scheduled pickup date is versus estimated date, add it here, add the approved pickup hours, the warehouse hours. Does the warehouse require a lift gate? Is a 53-foot trailer too big to gain access to the loading dock? Then you have to tell us that the location is limited access. Then add the origin address. If it's your warehouse address, you can select the default box and it will pre-fill for you. But if it's coming from a vendor, for example, enter the info here and it will be used for the LTL pickup or parcel shipping labels, depending on how you're shipping the inventory. Next, add your products. You can enter a SKU or enter or scan a barcode and then click Add Item to add it directly to the inbound. Or you can click Add Items without any values entered here and browse your product catalog. You can multi-select which SKUs to add to the inbound. You can search for a specific product by one of these values. If you don't see your product, you can create it quickly with the Add New Product button. These three are the only required fields to create a product. You have to select your primary channel, that is, how is Cahoot importing your orders? Is your Amazon store connected directly to Cahoot, or Shopify, or BigCommerce? Are you using a listing service such as Channel Advisor or GeekSeller? If you have multiple channels integrated with Cahoot and any one of them is Amazon Seller Central directly, then select Amazon. Let's say orders for the SKU will be coming from Amazon directly. Give it a name and the master SKU value. Now this master SKU value cannot be changed. If you have other SKU values that you sell this product under, you'll need to add alias SKUs, which can be done in the Edit Product screen, which you can get to under the Products menu. More info about that in the Help Center. But for now, the most important point to make about alias SKUs is that they must be added before an order for the alias SKU is imported into Cahoot, or Cahoot won't recognize the order as fulfillable and we will ignore it. So these are the required fields, but we highly recommend adding barcode now if you know it. You'll save yourself a step and prevent a possible receiving problem later. For this demo, we'll leave it blank so we can see how it's handled later, but generally it's best to add it, up front. If you have any special handling or storage requirements, put them here. Again, not required, but maybe the SKU needs bubble wrapping before it's shipped, maybe it needs to be stored below 85 degrees to prevent melting. Whatever it is, add those instructions here or we won't be aware of them. Click the Save button at the bottom. Okay, now close the tab and on the product search screen, enter the SKU you just created. Hit Go. Select the checkbox, click Select. Now see how the barcode field is asking for the barcode that we didn't enter? Now you have to take that extra step that we just talked about. Click Edit Product, enter the value, save, close the tab. Now, very important, do not refresh this page thinking that the barcode will be displayed here or you'll lose all your work. Instead, fill out the rest of your inbound, add any additional barcodes by using the links, and then when you save or submit at the end, when you're finished, these previously missing barcodes will automatically be updated for you in the background. So don't worry that you don't see them on the screen now. If you missed one, you won't see an error message because you can come back and edit it later as long as it hasn't been approved by Cahoot yet. But once the inbound is approved and moves from pending approval to approved status, it cannot be edited. And that SKU that's missing a barcode could get stranded at the Cahoot warehouse and require extra receiving time to resolve. So get your barcodes entered up front for the ones you know, And if you don't know one, or if you're missing any other important details about the product, just save it as a draft so you can come back and edit later. Okay, so now that we have all our SKUs entered, let's enter the quantities for each. You'll need to tell us how you intend to send the inventory. And if you want to include all risk insurance, which pays your claim for any damages incurred in transit, and then collects from the carrier for you instead of waiting around for the carrier to approve the claim, so you basically get paid faster and you let the insurance company do all the work. If it's pallet, enter the pallet dimensions, weight, number of pallets. If you know the freight class, enter it. If you don't, leave it blank. And same for NMFC code. If you know it, great, enter it. If you don't, enter a simple description of the most common components of the load. If you're shipping parcels, you're entering the same info, but skip class and NMFC. Certify that your inventory will arrive prepped according to the prep requirements. Here's a link to the instructions. Or you're certifying that you're planning for Cahoot to provide the prep services and invoice you accordingly. Prep would be any barcoding, bagging of spillables, etc. And then either save as draft to come back to it later or submit your inbound. Confirm. Now that your inbound is submitted, notice that a conversations panel is displayed at the bottom of the page. Please add a message here requesting approval for the inbound. This will send us notification to review and assign a warehouse. Once an inbound is approved, it cannot be edited, so make sure it's fully filled out before submitting. You'll be able to clone the approved inbound and edit that one, but then you have to ask support to cancel the original, so create some extra steps for you. So better to measure thrice, cut once. After submitting your inbound, notice that you can print your inbound summary for your records. You can print any barcodes needed if you need to prep your products before shipping. There's more info in the Help Center about this if needed. And that's it for inbound creation. From here on, all communications about your inbound will be done through conversations, and you'll get an email notification when there's a new message. When your inbound is scheduled for pickup, we'll notify you here. When your BOL and pallet labels are ready, we'll attach them to shipping documents, and we'll notify you here. Your next job is to add any tracking, such as the PRO number that you receive from the carrier when they pick up your load. You add that to the shipping documents section by editing the inbound, and you need to do this before you mark the shipment in transit. Once you add the tracking, then mark the shipment as in transit. If you don't mark the shipment as in transit, then the warehouse cannot begin receiving when it's delivered. So it's very important that this is done to prevent delays. When the shipment is fully or partially delivered to the fulfillment center, the status will move to arrived. Then, when all the products in your shipment are received and checked in, the inbound will move to received status. Only after all products are checked in. Let's mark this inbound as fully received. And this is when you'll see the quantity received and quantity sellable by SKU within your inbound screen and whether there were any damaged units received. We recommend always listing your SKUs with buffer quantity, aka safety stock. List your available quantity, the greater of 5 units or 2% short of the actual available quantity. So for example, if you shipped 100 units, buffer quantity should be the greater of 5 units, or 2% of 100 units, which is 2 units. So buffer quantity should be 5 units or more. If your inbound is partially received, say 2 out of the 5 SKUs are checked in and ready to ship, and you need visibility into the status of each one of your SKUs, you can use the Your Inventory with Partners report for full real-time visibility of your inventory status. And lastly, please plan on replenishing shipments at least 7 to 10 days in advance of stockouts to prevent overselling.